Hello, you gorgeous, sexy person, people, man, woman, whoever. So here I am again. I've been away for a little while. I was away in Ireland with my tantric teacher, doing a lovely week of deep diving, spending some time with a very dear friend as well, and generally just, being in that place and space where you learn and grow and get stuff sorted out in your head and your mind and your body. Anyways, so I wanted to come back to that list of relationship tips, and one of the ones that I haven't mentioned yet is the one where we talk about intimacy. So intimacy is something that a lot of us take for granted as being sexual intimacy, so where intimacy equates sex. And I think that's a shame, because I think you know as well as I do that intimacy is much larger than that it means so much more, and that any kind of relationship requires intimacy. And that doesn't mean to say that you need to be like completely stuck together and be unjoinable. You're still separate beings. But being intimate together means that you allow yourself to be open up to the other person, to show your vulnerability, to be able to, be together in silence and just share space and kind of have that ease with each other and that curiosity to know this other person and be close to them. And yes, of course, in some relationships, not all of them, it will mean physical closeness. And I'm saying that in a little vague way. So with colleagues, you might not want to be hugging or holding hands, which you may well want to do with family and friends. But a slap on the shoulder and just sitting a little bit more closely than that, always a table between you two is also physical closeness. And then, of course, there is the physical closeness that a couple might want to have. And I'm going to sneeze at some point. I can feel my nose going, so I apologize beforehand. Okay. So with a couple or with lovers or whatever you want to call them, physical closeness might actually then translate into sexual activity. All fine and dandy, but there's this big realm of that. Yeah? So that's just why I thought, okay, let me just decipher what intimacy can also incorporate. Now, we all have different intimacy needs, and intimacy might look different in your view and your mind's eye than in your partner's or and partner again in a broad sense. In your partner's opinion. So here is one of the things to talk about, to have a discussion about, to have a drink, sit down and say, so tell me, what feels intimate to you? What is a gesture of intimacy for you? How do you like to be approached? And also get clear about what that means for you. Don't just ask the questions, also be ready and able to answer them for yourselves, or don't even wait to be asked, but offer up that information. And when you feel that your needs are not being met, don't dump that on the other person and expect for them to magically solve it. Help them out, have the discussion, discover together what it is that you could both be doing, and to increase your that ability for the other person and for the two of you as a partnership to improve upon that intimacy. And I was reading this beautiful book, Esther Perel, wonderful relationship counselor, and one of the things she says is, but beware, because when you are so completely intimate, it can become so familiar and cozy and all of that you forget that there's also some mystique and some arousal and some tension that is lost because you're not enough of a separate being anymore. So I'm a great believer of intimacy, and I really believe that there's a lot of that needed still. But it doesn't mean, and I said this before, I know I'm repeating myself, but it does not mean that you forget about who you are and what your needs are, and also who you are in your different relationships. Yeah. So don't just focus all your intimacy on one particular relationship. Why don't you try and explore how you can have your intimacy needs met in different levels in different relationships for you? Now here's a little exercise. I'm not going to keep you very long today, but here's a little exercise if you want to practice a bit with intimacy, and you want to discover for yourself how it feels to kind of be on that little edge where it feels maybe uncomfortable at first, or your needs are not being met, or actually your needs are being met and it's so much that it touches you, or all of that, It's very simple. So here's the exercise. Hug. Oh yes. But not your regular hoo and out you go. No. Make sure you have a comfortable stance and you're not going to be interrupted. Hug for 3 minutes. Try to do maybe an equal hug where there's one has the arm on the other shoulder and another one underneath the other arm. So like a crossed hug rather than a both arms up, and one with both arms up and one with both arms under. But if you have if one of you is really tall, that might be very uncomfortable. You don't want to be bending forward because then you don't have a lot of physical contact, and try to have as much physical contact as is comfortable for you. So be in the hug, be relaxed, and then synchronize your breathing and stay there for 3 minutes, just feeling and seeing what comes up for you. There's going to be smelling each other, which is truly intimate and is really one of our basic drives of how we respond to people. All of that story with the pheromones and all of that. It's wonderful. And also, you're going to be hearing each other breathe. If laughter comes up, that's fine. Try to calm down. And again, because it can be a trigger where you're trying to shut out or not really connect to whatever is coming up for you. So laughter is good if that is a natural thing, or it's just making you happy and it's an expression of happiness. But also allow your partner to then maybe find out if that's also true for them or if that's just you. Try not to have it be distracting. 3 minutes, keep breathing, keep touching, keep getting as much physical contact as possible. If you're with your lover, also try to do some groin contact. So as close together as possible, so that you can really feel where stuff is coming up for you. And then have a chat. Have a cup of tea, a coffee, or a glass of wine. Sit down and have a chat. Or perhaps, you might want to consider being quiet together for a little while. Just staying together in silence after that beautiful hug. And just sitting and maybe digesting a bit and then coming back and talking about it a little later on. Okay, so intimacy in a relationship. Truly important, I believe. I don't know about you. Give me in the comments and say, Georgina, you're full of it. That's fine too. It's all good. This is me for now. And I'll be back with the next one on the list. Remember, I'll share the list again because it's been a while. And I see you next time. Take good care. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.